This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, the Biden-Putin summit. Reporting tonight from Geneva, Switzerland.
Good evening, everyone. A critical door was opened today between the USA and Russia. Whether it stays open, even President Biden and President Putin can't say. The two ending their historic summit meeting here in Geneva with vague understandings and to-do items on issues ranging from nuclear arsenals to cybersecurity, both framing the meeting and tone in terms like productive and positive. President Biden saying he wanted to establish basic rules of the road between the two nations, saying he pressed the Russian president on human rights. Putin pushing back, turning the tables on some issues. And at the end of it all, no clear roadmap from here about next steps. President Biden and Russian President Putin face to face. Their highly anticipated summit shorter than expected. Afterwards, President Biden insisting he achieved his goals at the summit he asked for.
I did what I came to do. The tone of the entire meetings was good, positive. There wasn't any strident action taken.
Each moment carefully choreographed. President Putin arriving first at the Swiss villa, followed by President Biden, pausing in his armored limousine before getting out. Then, Mr. Biden reaching out for a handshake. The two presidents never meeting alone. Secretary of State Blinken and the Russian foreign minister there, too. I hope that our meeting will be productive, Putin says.
Well, thank you. As I said outside, I think it's always better to meet face to face.
Not grabbing.
Chaotic moments as Russian media and Russian security pushed and shoved the American press. Both leaders looking on. President Biden had said he would confront the Russian leader on issues like election interference, Putin's crackdown on critics, and recent ransomware attacks on America's food and gas supply that the U.S. blames on Russian hackers. In an unusual move, President Biden not holding a joint press conference with Putin afterwards. Instead, in dueling appearances, both sides offering sometimes differing views of how it went. On cyber attacks, President Biden saying he gave Putin a list of critical infrastructure that he wants off limits, along with this sharp message.
I pointed out to him we have significant cyber capability. And if in fact they violate these basic norms, we will respond.
But no mention of that from Putin, who deflected any responsibility, blaming the U.S.
The majority of cyber attacks are made from the U.S. territory.
Both sides saying they would talk further on the matter. On jailed Putin critic Alexei Navalny, President Biden saying he gave this warning if Navalny died in custody.
I made it clear to him that I believe the consequences of that would be devastating for Russia.
But when Putin was asked about Navalny, he never mentioned his name, even comparing Russia's democracy activists to rioters at the U.S. Capitol.
People went into U.S. Congress with political demands. They are called homegrown terrorists.
That's a ridiculous comparison.
Putin saying he felt no pressure, describing their conversation in personal terms.
I can say that he is a constructive person, well-balanced and experienced. He recalled his family and conversations he had with his mother. It is all appealing.
President Biden suggesting Russia is eager to lower tensions.
I don't think he's looking for a Cold War with the United States.
While the two leaders agreed to return ambassadors and to start talks on arms control, no movement on other thornier issues.
He denied any involvement in cyber attacks. He downplayed human rights abuses. He even refused to say Alexei Navalny's name. So how does that account to a constructive meeting as President Putin?
You don't understand that. You're in the wrong business.
Later, President Biden apologized for that answer and was asked again about what was gained here.
If you were in my position, would you say, well, I don't think, man, anything's going to happen. It's going to be really rough. I think it's going to really be bad. There's a value to being realistic and put on an optimistic front, an optimistic face.
All right, let's bring in Peter Alexander and Andrea Mitchell, who are both here with me in Geneva. Peter, I'll start with you. What's the White House position on how this went?
Yeah, Lester, President Biden is making the argument that he accomplished his goals on this trip, restoring America's leadership and its alliances, and that he directly confronted Vladimir Putin, saying he is not against Russia, he is for the American people. Still, this summit also revealed serious disagreements. The White House goes home unable to tout any significant tangible progress on Russia. The president says we'll see what happens, but his critics are going to hold him to a very tight timeline.
And Andrea, what did we learn about Joe Biden on his first trip as president abroad?
Well, this is the Joe Biden we knew from the Senate and from the White House. He said before heading home that foreign policy is not some secret code. It's all about personal relationships. So he let Vladimir Putin know exactly where he stands on Russian cyber attacks, on Ukraine, on Alexei Navalny, and he set down some clear lines. The only problem is, if there is another Russian hack, is he prepared to take action? And at the end of the day, he and Vladimir Putin are no closer to agreeing on much of anything.
All right, Andrea and Peter, thanks to both of you. Let's bring in Keir Simmons, who interviewed Vladimir Putin ahead of today's summit. Keir, what's the reaction in Russia?
Lester, Russian media is portraying President Putin as a statesman and the summit as historic. Television networks here praising Putin for taking tough questions at his news conference from US reporters. But his answers were predictable. The same man who we met inside the Kremlin, defensive and blaming America. The question tonight, as President Putin arrives home here in Moscow, will President Biden's personal touch and warnings have any long-term impact? Lester?
All right, Keir Simmons, thanks.